Well, hello there, retro gaming tubers, and welcome back. Let's play a new series with me, BlueAnkylo. Kind of taking a break from streaming a little bit and just doing some one-offs on my own time, just with the recording without streaming. You know, no live audience, no chat. And I've got a huge list of Super Nintendo era. Some of them are RPGs, some of them are strategy RPGs, and I've been playing a bit of Fire Emblem lately, so this one kind of caught my eye, and this is what we're gonna let's play next on the channel. So it's technically called Langrisser, or however you pronounce it, which is really just Langrisser 2, the second game in the series. And I hadn't really ever played them before. I was always kind of generally aware of this series, but it was mostly Japanese only, not really translated to English very much. But, you know, I've been playing some Fire Emblem and some Shining Force and kind of thinking about other games in the series and thought, hey, maybe this is a good time for it, because it's a similar style. It's a tactical RPG with, you know, top-down maps. This one's got a bit of a... I think the Langrisser series is known for having a little bit of an anime-style story, but I'd also say it's a pretty classic Super Nintendo JRPG story as well, so if you're into that kind of thing, this is it. Now, so technically, maybe I'll read through this in a bit. Once it gets to it the second time, I'll read the intro. So, this is technically the second game in the series, and I did actually play through the first one ahead of time, but I decided not to Let's Play it. So, the first game, Langrisser 1, you can actually play, it's the only one, as far as I know, that has an English version, like a full-on English release, for the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive, or whatever it's called, yeah. I don't know all the names of all these systems. But yeah, so Warsong is the English name of Langrisser 1. And it's okay. I played through it. It's got some weaknesses, and I didn't want to Let's Play it for a couple reasons. But I can give you a very, very easy summary, because the story for that game is super, super simplistic compared to Langrisser 2. Langrisser 1 is about you as a prince, a hero, who you're in a castle that gets invaded, and the bad guys, the Imperial Army, show up, kill your father, the king, of course, and steal a fancy sword. That game calls it the Warsong, but it's actually the Langrisser sword. So then you run away, regain your army, retake the castle, retake the sword, but the sword have been, you know, unleashed evil upon the world, so then you had to fight a bunch of monsters and a dragon, and then you fought literally Chaos himself. And after you defeated Chaos, he said he'll always come back because there must be darkness to the light. And then you married your healer girl and lived happily ever after. The story is really quite straightforward. It's more akin to, like, maybe Shining Force 1 or even simpler kind of storylines. It's not bad by any means, but Warsong story is nothing to get too excited about. And the gameplay is, well, similar to what you're going to see right now, but more basic. I would say I haven't actually finished Der Langrisser yet. I've played maybe halfway through so far. And that's when I kind of decided, yeah, this is a much better game and I should probably Let's Play it. There is a Langrisser 2 for the Sega Genesis as well, but I haven't played that one. I'm a Snes boy, you know, SNESankylo going hard on Super Nintendo. Although technically it's a Super Famicom game because, you know, only ever released in Japan. You do get to see a little bit about how the game works here during the introduction. There's, I mean, I don't know how do you explain it. It probably looks really complicated. I know the first time I saw a video of Warsong and then Der Langrisser, I was very, very confused. So I will try to make it easier for new viewers to kind of explain what's going on. It's similar to Fire Emblem, except your heroes have, like, units. So you can kind of see some examples on screen here where this is a hero unit, and when you're fighting another unit, they might have 10 soldiers in it, and you know, then you kill them, and if you kill the leader, the smaller units disappear and all that. And there's kind of similar to Fire Emblem with like the lance, sword, axe, weapon triangle. There's a similar sort of troop triangle with spearmen, infantrymen, and cavalry, and then there's also a bunch of other stuff: flying units, ranged units, magic, monsters, you know, all kinds of weird stuff. So it's got some of that. It's got magic, you know, it's got healing spells, offense spells, buffing spells. It's actually, you know, got a lot of JRPG stuff going on. You got level ups, you got class promotions. Instead of just like one tier of promotions, there's like 4 or 5 different promotions you can go on, and it's actually quite involved, so that's really cool. This game, unlike this is technically the remake of Langrisser 2, like the Genesis version came out first. This one has 4 total splits. So there's 4 different sort of major endings depending on the route you take through the game. There's a normal route, an alternate route, and then a couple other sort of smaller routes on top of it. I'm not the expert, don't ask me, but I know the details. I know the difference a little bit. So there's like a good, a bad, a really bad, and a sort of neutral. We'll talk about those maybe as they come up. But the game is, I would say, pretty ambitious for an old Super Nintendo title. That's pretty good. Other things to talk about. I've heard that the original game is quite buggy, so when I installed the English translation patch, which I think at the title screen they mention it a little bit, it's not very hard. You can find it on romhacking.net. It's pretty easy to set up. But it does mention that a lot of the base game code was a bit buggy. There's some glitches and stuff in the original game, and I think the patch tried to fix some of that. But if it plays a bit wonky, you know, that's the story. I have also heard, I had a hard time making this ROM, you know, because it's a translated ROM, work on Snes 9X, my commonly used Super Nintendo emulator. So I actually had to go back to Snes, which was actually my all-time favorite emulator, but I understand it's a little old these days. But it has no problem playing it, so, you know, give it a try with a different emulator if you have a hard time. So I think that's all of the backstory. I will be checking in with a, there's some hidden items and stuff, so I'll be having a little bit of a guide in the background so I don't miss too much. There's some secret items that are pretty easy to miss. You don't need them or anything, but it's the kind of thing where end your turn on a specific tile and you get a treasure kind of thing. I'll try to show off as much of that as I can. So let's go through the story for the intro here, and then we'll get to character creation, because there's character creation, and we should have enough time to do the first map, maybe. The maps do take quite a long time. It's not a speedy game, so I would expect longer episodes with maybe some fast forwarding on the emulator through enemy phases. We'll see how it looks as we get further in, because one of my main worries for this Let's Play is that it does kind of drag on a little bit too long. Alright, so we've got Langrisser with a sword in the background. Maybe a legendary sword is in fact related to the game. It's probably is like the Langrisser, right? It's just, you know, classic. Oh, tutorial, soldiers versus spearmen. Soldiers are well-rounded. Strong to spearmen, weak to cavalry. This is really good. I didn't know they got to this if you just let it play. That's amazing. This is the perfect part of the introduction for the future tubers. And also me. Spearmen. So, I'll tell you my version of it. In my opinion, infantry are garbage and are bad against everything. Cavalry are good against everything except pikemen. Pikemen are bad against everything except cavalry. That's how the weapon triangle works for me. Cavalry beats basically everything except spearmen. Infantry loses to everything, and technically strong against pikemen. But it's, once you see the other troop types, you'll understand. So bows technically beat flyers, unless flyers attack the archers, and then the flyers often win against the archers. But you have an indirect long-range attack, so archers can kill flyers. Flyers tend to kill everything, not just bandits. Flyers, I would say bandits are weak against everything, and flyers are good against everything. Only countered a little bit by archers. And cavalry are kind of in the same situation, where they're basically good against everything except pikemen. Flyers beat cavalry, though. So, they get the S rank. Technically, there's water units, which mostly only work in the water. Soldiers, because they're technically soldier tier, it's not great. I think they are specifically good against flyers in the water. But almost always, water units are only good in the water. Monks are bad against everything except undead, so very, very niche unit. Monks are generally the worst type of unit. They're infantry, except worse than normal infantry. And then undead, you know, undead. There's monsters, you know, and sometimes the monsters are really hard to kill without monks. So there is a use for all the different troops, but I would say flyers are the best, cavalry are second best, archers are pretty good, and the rest are like situational, in my opinion. I am not the expert. Now I'd like to see if I can get that story again if we speed through here. I'm curious now if there's more tutorial mode. I think as soon as I hit start on the gamepad, it'll take me to the main menu to actually play the game. But this kind of reminds me of Super Metroid, where if you let the intro play for a bit, you can get little secrets. And I actually think that's a really nice way to introduce a game that I'm betting most of you guys watching have never seen before. Okay, well, we'll do the story this time. It alternates between a tutorial and a story. Over Yeles's sky, far from the cursed land of Velzeria, a red star of ill omen has arisen. It heralds the arrival of an ambitious man. Very Chrono Trigger. Probably made in the same year. 1994 this game came out, if I remember. Sort of mid to late era Super Nintendo game, I think. If I remember correctly. I did look it up, but I forget. And I actually think the story is pretty important, so we'll definitely be going over the story. It's got a lot of well, I mean, it's a Super Nintendo 90s JRPG, so if you like that kind of thing, you'll probably like this one. If you don't, then, well, I can't help you. So there's a magic sword, the legendary Blade of Darkness Alhazard. So if you played the first game, this didn't exist in that one. We had a holy sword, but now we have some kind of key to infinite power dark sword. Because there's literally skulls on the wall. Lend me your power, the power to conquer the continent. No, the world. So we'll meet Bernhardt later. He's got a bunch of pikemen and a bunch of generals. He's definitely got the Imperial army going. He shall crown himself as Kaiser of a new empire. Together with his knights, he shall conquer the lands with his unstoppable power. So sets him up as the bad guy nice and early with an evil sword. Classic. I like it. And then we get to see some of the units. So this is Leon. And this is happening before the game starts, I believe, if I understand the intro. So this is Leon, and he's killing somebody to take some sacred text because they're looking for things. The armies of the Kaiser will leave a wake of devastation as they blaze across the continent. Bodies piling, the victims. I can't read that fast, sorry. No, don't awaken the power of darkness! Egbert, oh, we'll meet this guy later. With its vast power at our command, you blah blah blah, you'll probably die. So, yeah, Meteor is a crap spell, and it's the worst. I hate it. I mean, it's meant to be powerful, but oh boy. It sucks when you get hit by it. The Ravages of the War lend an ancient dormant power. Something. Chaos is returning, just like was foretold by Chaos in the first game. If we meet our defeat this day, our country will something. Imelda, she's a big jerk. She runs the Water Dragon Navy. We don't like her. Sure, she's considered a saint as far as her class goes. I'll talk about the numbers on screen once we get to them ourselves. They're not as complicated as they look, and they maybe don't need to all be shown there, but it is a little bit overwhelming early on. The ancient glory of darkness, Alhazard, will rain terror on the people and bleed the land dry. The blade's true nature is something darkness, bad deviants. Now that I know why the Empire wants the Dark Rod, something. And Vargas is another general of the Empire, stealing some Dark Rod or something. We'll meet all these people later on, don't worry. I'm sorry I can't read quick enough. Once we're through the cutscene, I'll be able to slow it down in game. In the grip of evil, humanity will be choked into ancient darkness. The end can only be prevented with the might of Elfalead, Langrisser. It's a magic sword from the Holy Era, whatever. You've got a dark sword, you've got a holy sword, you know the drill. Those are succubi flying around also. Don't mistake. With the resurrection of the Dark Blade, an ancient evil shall awaken in our land once more. From Skull Temple on Skull Island, under a Skull Star. Far, far beneath the barren lands of the East, a powerful demon rests in slumber. Rests for now. There are still 2 more games, actually. There's Langrisser 3 and 4, maybe even 5? But they're on some consoles that don't technically exist, so they'll be even more difficult to do a Let's Play if I stick with the series. I gotta stop adding new series, though, but I can't help it. I never finish my series, I just branch off to another new game that I've never played before and get excited about. And this is Der Langrisser, so 15-minute intro. This is one of my longer ones, but I think we're just gonna get the whatever they call this thing, the prophecy one more time. I don't know anything about this red star, but it's probably got some aliens on it or something. When the Kaiser brandishes the demon's might above his crown, El Salia will be plunged into ancient darkness once more. I think El Salia is the name of the continent we're on. Pretty sure. I'm, you know, still young to the lore. So let's get to it. Der Langrisser. Start. And, you know, a little bit, this reminds me a lot of Lunar Star Saga, actually, for the different JRPG, but very anime, you know. Welcome to El Salia. My name is Luciris. As the goddess of light, I have summoned you from above. Interesting point here. Remember her name, because the characters in the game will actually mention Luciris, like they'll make prayers to this person. Like it is an in-world divinity as well. It's not just like a character creation goddess, which is cool. Our world has once again become exposed to the threat of evil. I have long awaited for a courageous person like you to appear. In order to see if you are the one who can save this world, I must ask you some questions. Please tell me your name. Well, we could go with the default name, but I mean, this is my Let's Play, so we'll go with Blue. But in general, Irwin is canonical. That's fine. I don't have enough. I checked out before. There's not enough spaces for BlueAnkylo, so we're just Blue, which is totally fair. Well then, Blue, please answer my questions. While resupplying, your enemy has launched a surprise attack. What will you do? Depending on the answers to these questions, we will change our stats, our starting items, and our starting class. And I have had a quick look at one of them, but I don't really remember exactly how it works. I'm gonna defend, because we're being attacked. And I know a little bit about mechanics of between the first game and the second game. I've got a reasonable idea of how the game works. Defense is actually more important than normal in these games, and compared to a lot of you know, Fire Emblem games where just offensive power wins, just killing enemies in one round makes a big difference. In this one, sometimes defense is more important, which is kind of neat. What is the essential quality of a matchless unit? I honestly would say mobility. Leadership might mean you get a lot of troops, maybe offensive power, but I would actually say moving quicker, like both gaminess and also like in real life. The army with the best mobility, it's kind of like logistics, tends to win. You know, it's very, very powerful. Which of these would you like at your next house? Pretty sure you can start as a pirate if you want or something. I don't know what the other options mean, but maybe one of them gives you some magic defense or something. I like a breeze. We'll go with a breeze. Ideally, what abilities should an excellent army possess? I mean, I keep saying defense is important, right? Powerful commander, that might make you more powerful. I don't know. Smash and destroy, be a barbarian. But no, I've kind of gone down the defense mobility route. We'll see what that does. What do you most strive to obtain in this life? I mean, I'm a smart Ankylo, so I'll go with knowledge. What ability must the ruler of a nation possess? Charisma. So the ruler of a nation, and what power? I mean, if you can't get things done, it doesn't really matter, right? Decisiveness is like making a decision at the right time without wasting. Charisma just sort of gets you followers that believe in you. But if you can't enact the changes you want, it doesn't really matter. You're not really a leader without any power, so I'll go with power. At the outset of a battle, what skills do you require of yourself? Power, judgment, tactical knowledge. I think if I was going to go into battle, the tactical knowledge is good, but in the middle of a battle, I would want calm judgment. Not just overwhelming might, but being able to like assess the battlefield, making sensible tactical decisions. Although having tactical knowledge, like that's a close call, but I'll go with judgment. What do you look for in an ideal unit? I like, in real life, I like to have a few really close friends. I don't like having millions of friends. I don't want to be alone. I'm not quite a loner. A few good friends is what we all really want. Lastly, what do you propose to fight? For what purpose do you fight? I mean, in the end, it's always your loved ones, right? That's how it really boils down. Nice! I got what I wanted. This is what I got last time. I made some slightly different options. I wasn't sure if I could get the same class exactly. I didn't follow a guide or anything. But yeah, we started as a flyer, which seems very, very unfair for how the early game tends to work. I'm pretty sure you can start at almost any starter class. You can be like an infantry, a spear, a cavalry. I think you can be a pirate pretty clearly, which would be terrible, because you're like a water unit that's on land. And if you don't like it, you can re-roll and try again. So I'm sure our stats are so just a real quick look at this screen. Level 1 with a bar, that's your experience bar. AT for attack, DF for defense. It's not quite as simple for attack and defense as how like Shining Force works. Fire Emblem is also a very mathematical, 10 might minus 5 defense means 5 damage kind of situation. It's not quite that straightforward in this game. Range will be like your command aura for giving your units bonuses, and then the bonuses to the right that has A plus 3, D plus 3. So that means any of our units that Blue summons, not his whole army, but his personal guard, have a plus 3 attack and plus 3 defense if they are within 2 squares of him. MP is just magic points, simple enough, that's just classic, and movement of 8 plus flying is really high. So hopefully that covers most of the status screen. There's a few other things, but that'll get us through the basics. I don't think we need to do the tutorial. I could do the tutorial. Maybe I'll save chapter 1 for episode 2 and just do the tutorial now. Sure, why not? Why not? You guys might need it more than I do. So you've got commanders and soldiers. You are the commander and your companions. These are the heroes. Soldiers are hired every battle, so you start, you always can deploy your heroes, but you'll have to pay for your soldiers, and you can select which soldier you take. So at the beginning of the game, we might only be able to purchase one type of troop on blue, probably a flying unit, but later on we'll have a selection. We can choose, an archer or a more powerful, or like a flyer or a more powerful flyer or an archer or something. So you get to do some tactical decisions every battle for who you want to bring. Command range, sure, we'll just go through all this, why not? You should keep your units near your commanders. This does make them stronger in combat. Like I explained a little bit, everyone has a command zone and they get bonuses. It is often a pretty big difference, actually. It's worth it. How to recover HP. So your troops, if they start their turn next to you, recover 3 hit points. Easy. There are healers. Your attack, yeah, this is good to know. So this is like your troops, they work like a group of soldiers. So they all have 10 hit points, basically. And as they take damage, they become weaker because there are fewer of them left alive. They get wounded or whatever. And then if you heal them back up to 10, they are at like full strength. So one of the tricks is lowering an enemy's unit's HP from 10 to like even just 8 or 7. And then sending your unit in to fight. So 10 versus 7, you'll take a lot less casualties than a 10 versus 10 kind of battle. You don't really want fair fights. This reminds me a little bit of another old game like, what was it called? It's on the Nintendo. Destiny of an Emperor had a fairly similar mechanic where your troops' HP was related to their offensive power. So that's kind of a fun mechanic. And we'll see that become more important as time goes on. Commander HP is a little different. They can, instead of moving and attacking, they can use Rally to regain 3 hit points and 2 MP by just holding still for a turn. You can move and attack, but you have to stay still to use Rally. Affinities. Yeah, everyone's got sort of a class, is what we're kind of getting to. Let's see what they talk about. I think we've already seen them during the intro here. Infantry, yeah, so that's good. Infantry are supposed to beat Spearman, supposedly, but the stats still matter. So what this means is, like, if you had a 20 attack, 20 defense infantry fighting a 20 attack, 20 defense spearman, and they're both at 10 hit points, the infantry would win and the spearman would lose a lot of people. But if you had a 20 attack defense infantry and a 30 attack defense spearman, the spearman would still probably end up winning. It's complicated exactly how it works, but stats still matter. The triangle, so to speak, doesn't completely invalidate the stats. So yeah, the infantry might feel bad just because you've got weak infantry. But yeah, so there's your triangle. Cavalry also have a lot more movement, which tends to make them more mobile and more tactically useful, kind of, you know. Sea units get penalties on land for movement, and they have there's like a terrain bonus, like forested areas and stuff that provide defense. Sea units get a lot of that in the water, for instance. Flying units always get an attack advantage, unless I think indoors actually might cut some of that down. And like I said earlier, they're sort of weak to bowmen, but bowmen, if you play Warsong, the first Langrisser, bowmen actually don't have a ranged attack. They work like melee units, and the triangle in that game is archers beat cavalry, cavalry beat infantry, infantry beat archers. There's no spearmen, and then flyers are, again, kind of the best, but archers technically beat them pretty good. But now archers have an indirect attack, like most, you know, ranged kind of TRPGs. And basically in melee, bowmen still kind of... The thing is, like, in melee, if a flyer is attacking an archer, the archers tend to have bad stats in melee, so they still might just die. But they might inflict some damages on the flyers. But the only time a bowman really slaughters archers is at range, or the only time an archer slaughters flyers is at ranged. Yeah, kind of explained here. Archers tend to be very fragile, as you should expect. So you gotta be careful with them. There's terrain. I only just recently learned that archers also get an attack bonus if they're on a forest or mountain tile. So I'll explain that more as we get into it, but positioning on different terrain does sometimes give bonuses as well that's sometimes hard to keep track of. Experience, sure, why not? When you kill things, you get XP, the commander. So your troops don't really gain levels, only your heroes. And if the hero kills something or their troops, it goes to the commander. Makes perfect sense. I think in Warsong, you got experience for killing troops. So like if you killed 5 out of 10 of an enemy unit, you got some experience. In this one, I'm pretty sure you only get XP when you finish off a unit. So if you took an enemy unit from 10 HP to 1 HP, you get nothing. If you finish it off, even though you killed 9 soldiers, you know, you get no XP. When you kill the last soldier, that's when you get the whole experience. So you can't grind, basically, by letting them heal. If an enemy commander dies, all of their troops die, and you do not get the experience for that, as far as I understand. So if you're trying to get the maximum experience, you want to kill all of the the soldiers first, before you go to the commander. Or if you're in a really bad situation, you might want to kill the commander first so that all of his troops just disappear, because maybe his troops are stronger than the commander, which is very common for mage commanders. Yeah, no XP, thank you, game. Very nice, very nice. If you're min-maxing, you want to kill all the troops. Good. How to position. Oh boy, I didn't actually read this tutorial before. This is good. Position your commanders. Sure, this is just... It's like a preparation screen. You get to decide where you deploy people. And yeah, that's fine. Sometimes you don't get to, sometimes you do. No big deal. You can still purchase troops. Oh, don't forget, there's equipment and shopping. Nice. Sometimes, well, there is a money system. You don't always want to hire the maximum number of soldiers, because you do need the gold to pay for them. And gold can be spent on lots of things. Okay. Well, you know, that didn't take too long. We're 30 minutes in. Maybe we'll still get to the first map. I expect this is going to be a fairly long Let's Play, so maybe we'll just do hour-long episodes right from the beginning. Scenario 1. Prologue. In its long history, the continent Elsalia has been a dark land marked by endless battle. Blue, a young swordsman, has been traveling its countryside with his friend Hein, an apprentice magician he met on his journey. Their long travels have led them to the outskirts of Hein's hometown, where the travelers decided to seek rest at the inn. Village life was quiet and peaceful. Amidst a sea of smiling faces, the wary travelers found respite from the wars ravaging Elsalia. Days rolled into nights and passed on quite quickly, and Blue began to enjoy the quiet life of a villager on a hawk. Then one day, Hein suddenly burst into the inn, his face stricken, pale as a ghost's. The Imperial Knights of the Rhaegar Empire had disrupted the village on Imperial command, seeking only a girl named Liana. None knew why the knights, known throughout the land for their honor and righteousness, would now attack such a peaceful village. Blue and Hind left the inn together to rescue Liana. Defeat Baldo. Don't die. Or let Baldo escape. At the bottom of the map. That's nice that they tell you, like, what you have to prevent. Okay. Enjoy the music. So, we only actually have one commander that we can control. Well, we forced deployment. So we can't change the placement for this map. What you can do is look at the map ahead of time. So we're in a happy little town. This is going to be where we start. Blue the Hawk Knight. We've got a little inn. I actually have to double check. I think a couple dressers have some items in them, actually. We've got our buddy Hind, the warlock here. And some more houses. Another house. Some soldiers. These are going to be... That's Baldo. That's the guy we got to kill. This is Liana, the girl we got to save. Probably another dresser to try to check. We've got some random villagers. Some green units. We got this Leon guy you might have seen from the beginning with crazy high stats. We got this Laird guy with pretty high stats. Got a little bridge up here. You know, nice little starting map. Let's look at equipment for Blue. So we have nothing. We could spend, so we have, we start with, was it 400 bucks? So we could buy a dagger and a buckler, and you have effectively 2 equipment slots, kind of a weapon and an armor or accessory, whatever you want to call it. And when it changes their attack and defense there, that's their personal attack and defense, not their troops' attack and defense. There are some items that increase the bonus that goes to your troops, which honestly might be better, honestly, than just having one sword for your leader. So that's something to keep an eye on later on. Before we buy those, and it does depend on the class for what you can equip, we might want to look at what kind of soldiers we want to bring. So we can bring harpies or soldiers. Harpies are better. They're more expensive, but they're better. So we're going to hire... maybe just 4 of them. 4 is the max. But we don't get this money back. You know, we're sort of... This is permanent gold gone, because if we want to bring them next battle, we'll have to pay for them again. Live or die, whether they survive this one or not, they will disappear, and we'll have to hire them again if we want more. So you might be better off saving some money. I'm not sure. Hein, who is a mage, also can hire, but only regular soldiers. And these guys are pretty garbage. But they're cheaper, so I'll buy him a couple again. I'm not sure if I should spend all my money on these, basically. I don't think I'll need them. But it is the first map. I think the Harpies will make this very easy, honestly. Because I think you're not supposed to have a flyer. Well, supposed to. I don't think the balance is for having a flyer on map 1. What I will do for Blue is I will buy him a dagger and a buckler. We'll find better equipment, so this is kind of a waste, sort of. But this will give me +1 attack, personally, and +1 defense, personally. Which is, you know, it's something. And I think that's good enough. Let's get started. The game does let you save every turn. You can save anytime you want, so I'll probably throw save states down now and then just to, you know... It's not like a hardcore Iron Man game or anything. Eek! You there, woman! If you do not want to die, answer my questions. Does a girl named Liana live in this house? Yes? Well, who is it? General Leon, the girl we were assigned to bring in, is here. I see, thank goodness. Let's get this over with. The local lord's troops must already be on their way. You are probably right. Hurry up, Baldo. If the Salrath army shows up, this could get messy. Understood. This is serious. Oh, come on, Hein. What's the matter? A detachment of knights from the Rayquard Empire is invading. What? Hein, it looks like they're only attacking the outskirts. Isn't that where your childhood friend lives? Oh, that's right. She must already be in terrible danger. Will you lend me a hand, Blue? Yeah, let's go. And my harpies. I just brought some harpies along, no problem. All right. So, let's see here. We got... This is just a rando guy. He doesn't even have a name. And some really garbage fighters. And then Baldo's a bit stronger. 22 and 18. Yeah, he's a bit stronger. His soldiers get +1/+1 as well. So these are all... I mean... they're... Hein is not really a great fighter. But, you know, he is what he is. He gets magic. He's got a magic arrow. It's fine. What about me? Do I get any magic? Depending on your... Yeah, I do get magic. So Thunder, offensive, protection will give one entire squad, like one commander's group, plus some amount of defense for one turn. It's okay. All right, let's see how far we can move. I think we just fly over, basically, and I believe in my harpies. I don't think we'll have any problem. Now, we can technically use the order command and have our harpies automatically follow us, but I will often manually move them just to make sure they're where I want them. Also, if you look in the bottom left, there's some numbers. I'm not exactly sure. I think the top number is the terrain defensive bonus, and the bottom number is your unit's specific offensive bonus or combat bonus for your unit specifically. So this is like 25% for the harpies, but a different unit might get a different amount, is kind of the way I understand it. So harpies are not particularly strong in the forest, whereas the archers are really strong in the forest. Also, you can see that little blue command zone there for blue. Right, can't quite move that far. Oh, I should have, well, whatever. I could have technically moved one to the left. If I'd put the right one here, I could have put it on that tile, but it's fine. As long as you're in the blue zone, you get the +3s. The blue zone for blue. And I'm going to try to keep Hein a little bit more protected. He's not really a melee unit. His soldiers are going to stay back. They're more of an emergency soldier. Oops. All right, and that's it. First turn, no problem. You can see your objectives, same as before. We can... I don't know, you can not watch battles, I guess, but we'll leave it like normal. I don't know what that will change, but for now, we'll just leave it like this. Okay, let's go. Unfortunately, with large groups, turns do go kind of slowly when there's a whole bunch of soldiers to move around, so we might use some speed ups. Help! General Leon, what should we do with this villager? No one was supposed to discover our actions. Do not needlessly shed the blood of innocents. We have not come today to commit murder. Your duty is to arrange for Baldo's safe retreat. Yes, sir. So green units go after our units, and then enemy units go after them. You must be Lady Liana. I ask you to come with us quietly to the Imperial capital. No one needs to be harmed. What do you want with me? I apologize for the suddenness of our arrival. I am Leon, the commander of the Rayquart Empire's Blue Dragon Knights. I was sent to retrieve you. Me? His Majesty, the great Kaiser Bernhard, waits for you at the Imperial capital. I shall be your escort. Do you promise you'll leave the villagers alone if I follow? Oh, but of course. It is already dishonorable to be seen kidnapping a woman. I have no intention of further shaming ourselves by killing defenseless people. However, those who bear arms against us shall forfeit this assurance of safety. I understand. Then, under these conditions, I'll follow. I am sorry for all this. Thank you for your cooperation in this matter. Ah, come on, get over here. Ow! I'm following. Please don't pull. Ah, damn, you're quite the impudent little wench. The things I have to put up with on these missions. There's a bit of swearing language. I won't be reading those aloud, but translation team takes some liberties, you know. Well then, let us take her back to headquarters. However, Bodo, you would do well to be polite to her. Yes, sir. I'll take care of from now on. But wait. Halt! You cannot do as you please in this village. General Leon, the local militia has come. Ah, how quickly. But it matters not. Continue the mission as planned. You dare mock us? I'll make you regret ever violating our village's peace. Ah, such foolishness. So, it's waiting for all of his units to end their turn or move, and that's where it slows down. I might be able to hold a button to speed up a little bit. Baldo's retreat appears to be secure. I've never had such a mission as this before. A soldier of war, witnessed here abducting a girl. What a disgrace. Please do not let it get to you, General. For me, it's a great honor just to serve as your command. I appreciate your words, but don't get careless now. Some children might defeat you. Okay, they moved next to me. Oh, here we go. They're actually attacking. I didn't think they would attack, but... So there you go. Harpies are good. That was a pretty good start for Team Blue. Laird, follow me. I'll sweep out the enemy. Understood. Laird gets some troopers or whatever they're called. Cavalry, basic cavalry. You don't want to fight Leon on this map, let's just say. You don't even want to fight Laird on this map. Highlander is like a tier 3, I think, class. So the way the levels work, quick summary, you go from level 1 to 9, and then at level 10 you promote, and then you go back to level 1. So, Laird, if I'm correct, he's like a level 7 Highlander, I think. That's like level 27, so way stronger than us. This just keeps getting worse, Blue. The Imperial Knights are gonna kidnap Liana. Why would Rhaegar go to such trouble for one girl? There's no time to think about it. Let's help her. All right, and as you may have noticed, the damage is gone. So tactically speaking, it is generally better for the enemy to attack your units if they're adjacent to your hero. Win the combat, or at least, you know, even a 50-50. If they both took 5 damage, that would be 5 to 8, and that would be very good for us. So you want to take that damage, heal up, and then on your turn, wipe them out, is generally my preferred strategy. And I think we could use this opportunity to do some magic. Yeah. So I forget exactly how Magic Arrow works. I think it's single target. Yeah, single target spell. You can see the range here, and it'll affect just the one. We could target the commander, which might be smart. I'm going to target one of his troops, though. Getting these guys a little bit weakened will make it easier on us. You damned Imperials, get out of this village! Magic missile. Hey, pretty good. It did 1 damage. Hein. Oh, man. Not a great start, Hein. I'll try to save this kill for him, because it's in range of one of his guys. Okay, Blue's going to just charge in here. We'll be fine. I'm going to fly... Ideally, we hit each of his units once. I think this will be fine. I'm just trying to think how I'm going to use all my harpies, but it should be okay. I won't let you get away with this. Let's see how I do with my Hawk Knight. We have a 9-point advantage attack versus their defense. 24 versus 15. Plus we fly and they don't, which is, well, bad for them. And we get a plus 25% tactical advantage thanks to being a flyer. You just always get that. As you can see here, if we move a non-flyer, non-flyers don't even get that plus 5% in a tree. They get the 0. All right, let's keep doing our turn. Now, this guy will heal up to 4 next time, but that's not too dangerous. So let's just keep trying to chip them down as much as we can. Or just wipe them out entirely. That's great. And that time we got a bit of experience. Excellent. Okay, looking good. Let's wipe out the guy to the south. Yeah, starting with a flyer seems very, very strong. I expect starting with cavalry would also be very strong, but I haven't tested that out. Ooh, that's another kill for my boy. Well, maybe. It's out of his command range, but maybe. Let's see. From here, the plan was to take this one out. This should be a kill. I think we've generally been able to do 9 damage, so... There is definitely some randomness in how much... There's actually quite a lot of randomness in how the attacks and defenses work. There's some kind of missing mechanic, and I'm not sure how it works. Now, the question might be, could we attack the boss, but not kill him? And I think the answer is, we won't kill him. If we kill him now, we kind of miss out on some experience, which is not the idea. But I don't think we have enough... I don't think we have enough strength to one-shot him. I think we'll do like 5 damage or so. Whew, that was more than I thought, but I'm just really strong, apparently. But that's perfect. So now everything in his unit is weakened and probably is not going to do very much damage to us. We've got a nice easy kill here. He still takes damage. Oh, Hein. On the plus side, he does level up very quickly. I'm not sure exactly why, but some classes level up quicker, like the bar is lower. So you can see how long my XP bar is on blue. It will take far fewer kills for Hein to level up. So, unfortunately, we're going to lose out on Hein's command bonus here. So, it's not the best attack, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I mean, it's 10 to 1, so even without that +3, it's fine. I was getting a little concerned for a second, but we got him. And they still get the XP no matter how far away they are, so no problem. Okay, another turn done. Advance, let's go. Yes, it's up to us. All right, now I get to watch these guys reposition. Do I have any... In Warsong, I think there was a button that sped up enemy turns a little bit. Doesn't seem to be anything right now. I know I have my, like, emulator speed up, but that's not what I'm looking for. Mission without swordplay is just ever so dull. Maybe I can have some fun with the young ladies over there. Stop it! You promised you wouldn't hurt them. Ah, shut up. Now that we have you under arrest, that promise is meaningless. Hey, you, move it. You're in my way. Eek, help. Baldo, wait. You're forbidden to act without orders. Baldo doesn't give a... Look at this. One man kills 10 girls. War crime. He even gets experience.